Good morning, everyone. It's April the 18th, 2024. Today I want to talk about the Ottawa Mission and my title that I've just put up, because last week, CEO from the Ottawa Mission put out an alarming report and it's very valid, because last fall, I recall, he put out that 100 and I think it was 87 people or something swamped them at that point. And this was refugees and asylum seekers just at the start of the winter, basically. And they didn't have any room for these people. And again, he's just sounded the alarm, and it's even worse. He said 79% of newcomers are actually ending up at the Ottawa Mission. And the Ottawa Mission, of course, is an all-men's mission, just for men only. And this is an alarming statistic when you see 79% for certain. And they're also, from what he was saying, as soon as they come in from the airport, they're being directed, I think you need to go to the Ottawa Mission. So they're getting people that are swamped. This is really not a good situation at all. And they take as many people in as they can, and I know how generous the Ottawa Mission is, for certain. And as he said, we're having to put people, no place to sleep, no beds, but they put them up on chairs and say the chapel. And I know this to be true, as last fall when this started, when a friend of Julie's was at the Ottawa Mission, and he was explaining, well, I used to have a bed. He was more or less a middle-aged man. And he was finding himself sleeping in a chair every night in the chapel as well. So I know this is not exaggerated by any means, getting that coming firsthand. And then I noticed that they also were saying, we're running out of food to feed them all. And so where do we put all these people? And we're getting so overcrowded down here. It's just unbelievable. And it's not just the mission. All the shelters are at this point. But when the Ottawa Mission sounds the alarm, you sit up and take notice, because they're certainly the oldest mission, I believe, here in the Lower Town area. I know it's been here for a long time, and I think next to it would probably be the Shepherds and then the Salvation Army. But that age-wise, that is. But with having the 3 shelters here, we're really feeling the crunch down here. How this is going to show up over the summer on the streets is going to be interesting as well. But, and then, of course, this week as well, the federal government came out with their big budget. And on the housing is what they're concentrating on. And I think that's going to be the real big issue for the next election, is going to be, what are they going to do for housing? And their long-term plans sound to me really good, but short-term, where are they going to put everybody? And of course, the province, well, we need more money from the federal government, we need this. And then the big thing is, now that the federal government buildings are empty, they're talking about converting them into affordable housing. And this is another big question, I think, that needs to be answered, is who's going to get that affordable housing when they do get those buildings transformed. And from what I'm seeing, and with the world in total turmoil and the asylum seekers and that coming into Canada, I certainly haven't got anything against them. But as my grandfather said, it's wonderful that Canada can look after people, but if we cannot look after our own first, then we are really in a big problem. And that was the big argument back then, was if we have too many people and we can't look after our own people, then this is going to cause a conflict. And this is where I'm seeing the conflict right now, and it's not being prejudiced or racist against anyone from another country whatsoever. We need to find solutions. So as my last video said, I was talking about the bachelor apartments. Well, people coming in who are singles, especially single people, bachelor apartments would be ideal for them, converting a building into bachelor apartments. And maybe a 1-bedroom apartment for a couple coming in, let's say. And so on and so forth, it's affordable. And with all these empty office buildings that need to be people put in, I'm thinking maybe this is where the asylum seekers and the refugees need to be set up. Some of them Some of the buildings need to be set up for bachelors, some need to be set up as 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and maybe some as 3 bedrooms for the families coming in as well. Because look at the millions of dollars that we're spending when they come in to put them up in hotels as well. Well, if we're going to bring people in from other countries, we have to set them up and at the same time leave our shelters as we're trying to build the rest of the affordable housing for our own people. So it's definitely a huge problem. And I know that has also been talked about refugees coming in or asylum seekers that have family here to fast track them. Apparently that's another little issue, and I wanted to mention something on that last weekend I was going to a workshop on Saturday, and I was sitting at the bus stop and I started talking to this young lady and found out that she's very new to Canada. I asked her, well, how long have you been in Canada? Oh, just 6 months. And I said, well, how did you do finding housing? And she said, well, I lived with my aunt and my uncle. They had an apartment here, and then I had a sister that had another apartment in the same building, and they managed to acquire a 3rd apartment for her. And so I asked her where she was going, and she said, well, I'm going for a job interview. And she was a little concerned because she was just learning English, and she hoped I understood her. And I said, yes, I understand you. Okay, and if you have problems, I don't mind correcting you. That's perfectly fine. You're learning one of our languages here in Canada, which you need. And she said, yeah, I'm on to a job interview. And then she also pointed out an interesting thing that I've heard before is all these refugees think that they have to learn both French and English. And I was telling her very politely, well, that's not a problem, but it's since you're learning English first, make sure you've got your English down packed and you understand it fully before you try and take a course and learn the French. And once you learn the French, then that'll be great. You'll be trilingual. That will definitely help you along. And they just want to come in. They want to work. They don't care if it's minimum wage. They just want to have a job and contribute. And so this poor woman, she was trying to ask directions, and she showed me the city map that she had, and she had the red line where she was going, and we got on the bus and everything. And I told her, well, I have to get off before you, but what street are you looking for? So she showed me on the map, and I said, well, when you have to get off there, just ask the bus driver to let you off at that street, and then you can find your way there. It's just across the road, basically, from where you get off, because I know the city, of course, so well. So she was grateful for the information. And then it's not just her. I know another person, a brother and sister, who are both sharing, not from Canada, but sharing a 2-bedroom apartment here and paying the expense on the 2-bedroom apartment and doing quite well, and they both work. So this is what they are contributing, and they do want to contribute. But we have to make sure we can also take care of our own, and I think the government buildings have possibly given us an opportunity where these empty spaces, maybe we can fill this gap at the same time and not have everybody arguing over where we have to put everybody. So this is what is my opinion and what I wanted to kind of say today. So everyone, please take care, have a nice day, be safe, and definitely watch your surroundings, and we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.